Well, hey everyone, welcome to week number 3 of our May series called Never Give Up. Super glad you're here. If you're new here, my name is Cody. I am the youth ministry assistant here at North Park Fanshawe. If you're new here, what we normally do is we do a little intro like this, and I'll send you off into the teaching video, and then I'll come back, I'll ask you a few questions, and then you can head out. If you have your Bibles, or if you want to go get your Bibles, you can pause the video here. We're going to be looking at 2 Timothy 4 verse 11 today, so make sure you look that up in your Bibles, and then I will get you to go off into the teaching video right now.
I don't know why I did that. Hey everyone, I'm Caleb, and I'm so glad that I get to hang out with you. But I want to ask you a question. Can't get over why it sounded like a grandma. Question, do you think most things in life are better with friends? Well, I think there are some things in life that just aren't the same when you experience them by yourself. Kind of like me trying to play more than one instrument at a time. Let's be honest, I think you'd agree that having more band members would have made my job a lot easier and a lot more fun. Some things are just better with others. Have you tried FaceTiming alone? Pretty weird. How about a duet on TikTok with nobody on the other half of the screen? Pretty weird. Playing football by yourself? Simply impossible to do alone. Listen, we all know that some things just can't be done alone. But here's what I think is interesting. Even though we know it, we don't always live like it's true. For one reason or another, so many of us go through life alone. You've probably heard people at school or online talk about the problem of loneliness in our world today. Maybe you've even experienced your fair share of loneliness, or you're currently experiencing loneliness right now. If you have, then you know it's a very real thing. In fact, according to a recent study, as many as 3 out of every 5 people you see on a daily basis say they're lonely. When you hear that 3 out of 5 people suffer from loneliness, it's hard to imagine how big that number actually is. If you were in a football or soccer stadium, that number would look like this. That's a lot of people. And that means that a lot of us feel like we're walking through life alone. We're trying to get through all the stressful events, difficult circumstances, and hard days by ourselves. And if we're honest, I think most of us would say that's really tough. See, in the lonely world that we live in today, we've believed this idea that we have to do it all on our own. I think that's why so many of us pull away when life gets tough. When hard things happen, we feel like we have to figure them out on our own. So we pull away from people who might be able to help us just to prove we can do it alone. Because if we can't, well, then we're afraid it shows the world that we just don't have what it takes. Or maybe we hold things back from other people. We start hiding the stuff that's hard or difficult in our lives from the people closest to us. We don't open up to our group or our friends or our parents. We choose to keep the really tough stuff to ourselves. We think we have to figure out how to get through those thoughts, those experiences, or those stressful things all by ourselves, so we don't let anyone in to help. Maybe for some of us, we think we have to do life all by myself. We've been taught that the toughest, strongest, best people are the people who handle it all on their own. They're all me kind of people. And if we've been led to believe that's the best way to live, then of course we think we have to do it alone. We have to solve our own problems. We have to make it without the help of others. We have to rely on only one person. Ourselves. That all sounds really tough and really lonely, huh? Well, this is exactly where I think resilience comes in. Remember, resilience is our ability to bounce back and grow stronger after we have struggled, failed, or faced hard stuff in our life. It gives us a way to go through the ups and downs in life knowing we'll be stronger because of it. Think of it like this bouncy ball. When you throw it on the ground, it comes right back up and it keeps going. It doesn't just stop once it's thrown. It bounces back over and 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 over again. That's what resilience looks like. It looks like a bouncing back after a setback. Ooh, that rock, you heard the bars? But developing that kind of resilience in your life doesn't happen overnight. Resilience is kind of like a muscle that you build. You have to keep going, keep trying, keep showing up rather than giving up in the face of hard things. And you know what? Doing that is something we need a little or a lot of help with from time to time. So, what if the best way to become stronger, healthier, and more positive as you go through life is not by pushing through everything on your own? What if building resilience is one of those things that's actually better with others? Today, we're actually going to talk about a guy whose entire life changed because of Jesus. His name was Paul, and he was one of the most famous and influential Christians to ever live. He started many of the first Christian churches and helped develop other leaders to continue sharing Jesus' message with the world. Pretty cool, right? Early on in his days of starting churches, Paul worked alongside some of his buddies, guys like Barnabas, Silas, and Mark. These were early Christians who helped spread the good news about Jesus. It was a pretty big mission, and one I think they all knew was better accomplished together. But at one point, Paul and his friend Barnabas got into a little bit of an argument. Not so great, right? Paul was frustrated with their other friend Mark, who bailed on them during one of their trips. And when Paul told Barnabas about his frustrations, Barnabas wasn't as understanding. See, Mark was actually Barnabas's cousin. So when Paul wanted to tell Mark he couldn't keep traveling with them after he bailed, Barnabas didn't agree. He didn't just want to leave his cousin behind, so instead, Paul and Barnabas actually ended up going their separate ways. Well, as time passed, Paul found himself in a pretty difficult spot. He was actually in jail and imprisoned for sharing Jesus with others. Paul could have given in right then and there. He could have said, "Oh well, I guess it's time for me to give up. I was doing it on my own, but now I'm here, so I guess the work just has to end." But thank goodness for us, that's not what Paul did at all. He actually wrote a letter to one of his friends named Timothy. And in that letter, there's one small sentence that tells us what Paul did instead. Take a look. "Get Mark and bring him with you, because he is helpful to me in my ministry." I know it's simple, but don't miss this. Later in life, Paul realized how important it was to have the help of other people. He knew he couldn't do it on his own, so he asked for Mark, the very guy he refused to bring with him years before, the guy who bailed. The guy he didn't think would be all that helpful anymore. It seems like Paul came to realize, whether through his circumstances or through Mark's own actions, that we need the help of other people. It's how we grow. In Paul's case, he knew that Mark would help him spread the good news of Jesus while he was imprisoned in Rome. And maybe in your case, you know it could help you pass that test, or deal with your anxiety, or navigate the loss of someone you love, or even grow in your faith. In other words, letting other people in to help us is actually one of the ways we can build resilience. That's why I want you to remember this: never give up on others. No matter what we've been taught by our experience, no matter if we've grown up thinking life is supposed to be all about me, no matter how many times we've thought that it's only up to us to get through tough times in life, if we want to keep going, keep growing, keep developing resilience, we need to never give up on others. Now, before I go any further, let me say that I know there are circumstances where we need to put distance between ourselves and someone else for our own health or safety. In a way, it might feel like we're giving up on that person, but really, we're creating a boundary and doing what's healthy for ourselves. That might mean that person is still in your life in some way, but it also might mean that they're not. This kind of situation is not what I'm talking about when I say never give up on others. If you're in that situation, I'm sorry. I know that creating boundaries can be really hard to do. The good news is that while that person may not be a healthy influence on your life, someone else can be for you. Just because one person hurt or let you down doesn't mean that everyone will. Time out. I'm going to say it again because I like doing that. Just because one person hurt you or let you down doesn't mean that everyone will. So, if we want to build resilience, one way we can do that is with others. I know this seems weird after so many of us have grown up feeling alone or believing that life was ours to figure out all on our own. But deep down, I think we all know that we need other people to help us grow, because other people help us stay positive. When life gets tough, sometimes there's nothing better than a friend who will remind us of all the good that remains around us. Their positivity helps us keep going when we want to give up. And the opposite is true too. We help our friends stay positive when they want to give up. Friendships help us become more resilient. Then, other people provide the support we need. Sometimes we all just need someone to lean on. We all need somebody to lean. You may not know about that song. Look it up later. It's a good one. Sometimes we all just need someone to lean on. We need someone to laugh with or cry with or just talk to. You know this because your friends need this from you sometimes too. Part of building resilience is becoming more emotionally and mentally healthy. When we have people around us to support us through the ups and downs of life, they might encourage us to process our emotions in healthy ways or even to get professional help from a counselor. All of this leads to a healthier and more resilient version of ourselves. This is why we should never give up on others, because one of the best ways to build resilience is with others by your side. So, what can we begin to do now to start allowing others to help us with this? Here are a few questions to get you started. First, what is happening? Like, what's happening? Maybe you're beginning to realize just how much you keep from other people. Or maybe you're noticing that you don't have someone you're comfortable opening up to. So take the time to recognize what's really happening when it comes to your relationships. Do you feel lonely? Have you been pulling away because you're going through something? Start by getting real about where you currently are when it comes to letting other people in. Then ask, what is true no matter what? Look, so many messages around you will tell you that you can figure out life alone. Please don't listen. Because the truth is, we need other people. If someone as influential as Paul needed the help of someone else, then I think it's safe to say that we all do too. So, remind yourself of that truth. It's okay to need other people. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to lean on the ones who love and care about you in life. Their help might be the very thing that pushes you forward towards resilience. And finally, ask, what can you do? Now it's time to get to work. It might be awkward or uncomfortable, but we have to reach out to other people. We have to take a step toward letting others in. Maybe it's a trusted friend or your group leader or a parent. Start by sharing what ups or downs you're facing in life. Then ask for their perspective on what you can learn, how you can grow, or what you can do to keep going, even when you want to give up. Remember, never give up on others, because having other people to support you and walk with you can make such a difference in your life. It can help you be more resilient, not just today, but in the future. That's why I think God gives us other people to help us along the way. In fact, that's exactly why we have groups at church. They're a safe space for you to share your own ups and downs with a group of people who want to help you face them with resilience. Please, give it a shot. You've got this.
I really hope you enjoyed today's teaching video. I just have 3 questions to ask you, and then you can head off with your day. Question number 1 is, what is one thing that you can think of that is better with friends? Maybe it's like a video game experience or going out or doing something at the mall. What is one thing that's better when you do it with your friends? Question number 2. On a scale of 1 to 10, how important do you think it is to have other people help us through our challenges, or for us to help other people through their challenges? Question number 3. I want you to think about a way that you could help someone in your life that's going through a challenge. Alrighty guys, that is it for week 3 of our May series called Never Give Up. I will see you again very soon.